right, what's happening, guys? Welcome to the Fantasy Podcast. Man, things are not going well. And because I'm doing so poorly, I had to invite somebody who could commiserate with me, who understands what it's like to be at the very bottom of the fantasy totem pole. I'm a loser, and sometimes, not all the time, sometimes Junior knows what it feels like to be a loser. I mean, when you put up, how many points you score this week, Junior?
I think 56. And if I'm not mistaken, Josh Allen beat off all weekend with a little bit of help from a friend.
Yeah, so it was like Josh Allen almost outscored your team. That's what you're saying?
Yep, pretty much.
Well,
Pretty much. I kind of feel like the IU basketball of the Big Ten standings.
Oh man, Junior, you're not going to get invited back because some of our sponsors, like a Total Tan, are not going to be happy. You start like saying stuff like that.
Yeah, that's all right. I'll go do the $2 tans in February and make up for it.
All right, that'll make up for it. All right, I'm going to take this off. Feeling like a loser, but we won't keep that on any longer. We'll jump in here. So thanks. Dave is working in Evansville, and then obviously just got a lot going on in his life. We'll get to that in a second. But Kenny's going to join me, and we were talking. First thing we're going to do is award the Hillbilly of the Week, and so we'll roll the trailer there because it never gets old. I'll drop that in right here.
This is Farmer Ed, and here's your Hillbilly of the Week.
All right, so the Hillbilly of the Week, we talked about renaming it to the Junior of the Week award, and so I had put up a little photo in the group chat, and you said that you wore this jersey. You have to stand up a little bit so people can see it. Yeah. You wore the jersey just for people to...
Just for everybody to see what the award looks like.
I just want you to know, I had to go real deep on your Facebook page to find, all the photos of you were just of your kids.
Yeah.
And so to find, and then also I was just like, oh, this is perfect. I was like, how is this? This has got to be the photo that I threw up on that graphic. So,
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it kind of creeped me out a little bit that you found it, but it was fitting. That was from a lip sync battle at school one day, and I was trying my best to be Vanilla Ice.
All right, as a teacher, not a student.
As a teacher, yes. As a teacher, yes.
All right. So this week's Hillbilly of the Week award goes to Brian, and it's been a long time coming. I mean, he could have won it any of the other weeks, but you won it for talking trash. I won it for being so bad. You put up a really valiant effort this week. Like we said, if we were going to give it to low points every week, I'd probably win it every week. So that's not fair. Yes. Don't want to give it to only you for scoring 56 points. I mean,
if you and I hold the award, it's not very fair.
Yeah, that's not fair. So Brian gets it for literally the most. I mean, we've talked about this. The Hillbilly Award is the award that you get when you do the most hillbilly thing. That means that you just fit right in with the idiotic kind of culture that we've created in this league.
Yeah.
And 3 gut punch losses that all happen on Monday night. There can't be anything more hillbilly than that. Yeah, I don't even know if he did anything wrong.
I was glad I knew that, by 4 o'clock I was finished already.
Yeah.
I didn't have to watch Monday Night Football.
Yeah, he didn't have to suffer through that.
No.
I mean, he needed
before Brian.
He needed CeeDee Lamb to catch one more pass, and it's not like they weren't. My team lost because Dak was throwing on 4th down, so he could have easily, got points because they were up 50 points in the game and still going for it on 4th down. Not that I'm bitter about it or anything. So.
No, not at all. Not at all.
So, Brian, congratulations on winning this week's Hillbilly Award. I think Brian's got a bright future. I think he could win it again.
I think he could. I mean, I think it might be a 3-way race at this point.
Yeah, that's going to be tough. That we're going to have to come up with some criteria that allows some other teams to get it. Otherwise, it's not going to be fair.
Right. I would agree with that.
And so then Dave, because this is going to be shocking. Dave, in his absence, he sent me some information about who he wanted to be the Miller Time Team of the Week. So we get all these awards out of the way. and so he wanted to let everybody know that Danny is the winner. And so, after getting destroyed the week before, okay, he had a down week. He comes back and holds off Brian, who was so these two awards kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah, they do.
Holds off Brian on Monday Night Football, and he jumps into 7th place to get into the playoff race. So, that's a good bounce back game for Danny. And so if I'm just pulling up the standings here, Danny is jumped up ahead of Ed. He's 2-1, even after getting, so he beat me week 1, then lost pretty bad, but then had a good bounce back game. So we've got, Rennie sitting at 3-0. Man, that's
just a crock right there.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than Rennie having a winning team, because he gets real quiet when he's losing, but he loves to talk when he's winning.
He's going to talk about the 72 Dolphins or whoever that is, and
yep.
He loses.
We got a lot of 2-1 teams, starting at the bottom with Danny, and then Dave and Brennan, who beat me on Monday Night Football. And we got Adam in there, who's dangerous, Travis, and then Josh. Good matchup that's coming up this week will be the matchup we'll get to in a second. Will be of Adam and I think it's
Adam and Rennie, I think, play this week.
Yeah, Adam and Rennie. So that'll be really good. So yeah, Adam and Rennie. So wanted to take a second though, because we talked about Dave not being here. He's at work, but he also just been going through a lot, and so wanted to oh shoot, I don't know.
Yeah, it just disappeared on you. I just see your big mug now.
What were you seeing before?
The picture of
it's been up there the whole time.
I see his nephew again now.
Okay, all right. So it's been up there the whole time, yep. Which is no problem. We don't mind. So this is Jared, and we were obviously it's tough. Dave. This is Dave's nephew, and he was a part of our league. I don't know exactly what year he may have played 2 seasons with us, but so yeah. So my memory, and feel free to jump in, Junior, is that last thing I remember, and I'm not great with all this, but was we were at Josh's. Remember when Josh used to come to the draft?
Yeah. Does Brennan actually get credit for 2 teams though?
Yeah, he does this time.
Okay.
Yeah, he's doing really well this season. But so we were at Josh's house. He's hosting the draft, and we watched the McGregor fight.
Yeah.
So we got the McGregor fight. And Jared was there, and the guys that are in the league, they remember we had this giant draft board that David picked up, yeah. And so Jared was being like a Vanna White, like taking the names and like placing them up on the board, and then we were there just having a good time and stuff. And I remember that. Jared's like just scrounging beers from anybody that would like get. It's like a variety pack, like anything he can get his hands on, right? Like somebody's got like a Angry Orchard. Okay, yeah, I'll take that. Whatever it was. He was there to enjoy the fight, to hang out, and so. But
when you snag beers off other people, you always have your own money. So
yeah,
it's not a bad way to go.
Not a bad way to go, but man, it's once a hillbilly, always a hillbilly. So he was part of our group, and man, it's tragic. We hate it for him and his family and just the whole thing. But obviously for Dave, who's a good friend of all of ours, going through that. So man, we are sorry to hear about that, and our thoughts and prayers are with Dave and his family as they're just dealing with the aftermath of that. But just thought we would take a few minutes here while we were in it and wish Dave well and let him know that we're thinking about him. So
absolutely, we're thinking about you, Dave, and that stuff like that's bigger than anything that we do with fantasy football and stuff. So we're always here for you, buddy.
Yeah. So Junior, maybe everybody doesn't know this, but when Adam talks about like the he brings up he's our historian. He's got all the records, right?
Yep.
So the reason that you're so high up on the record books is because you've been in the league the longest.
No, it's because I'm so good.
No, well, okay, that's debatable, but one of the factors is that you've been playing the longest. So you're the original person that was in this league. It wasn't your league, but tell everybody a little bit about how this got started.
So I if I remember right, like I don't even think that I knew the person. His name was Ken Dawson. I don't think I knew him at first. I got in because my sister's ex-husband, Steve, when they were together, asked me to be in it. So it was him and some firefighters and some other people, and we kind of did it a few years. And so then he didn't want to do it anymore. And I if I'm not mistaken, I think you were still around when he was in charge of it a little bit, right?
So where I got connected, so I was still in college. And
Rennie has been that long, hasn't it? Wow.
Yeah. So Rennie had just graduated. I took a long time to graduate college. All right. So for those
think about that, Rennie graduated.
Rennie, Kenny, and I were all the same age. Rennie graduated. I was still in school, but he was working at Delta, so he was working third shift second shift, late second shift, and so I would go over to his parents' house, and we would lift weights after he got out of Delta. So this is late at night.
Right.
And so I just remember that first fall that he was out of school, we're going over and lifting and stuff. He's like, "Oh, we're doing fantasy football." I mean, this was the back in the time. So we're over at his dad's house. He's got this big desktop computer, dial-up internet, and he's going up and he's checking like his fantasy scores and stuff. You know what I mean? So like, I remember him talking about it. I wasn't in the league. The next year, you guys invited me to join the league, and so I remember sitting in some guy's house. You say it's this Ken Dawson guy.
Ken Dawson, right behind Harrison Elementary.
Yeah, so I don't know him, but like I remember sitting in his living room. I don't know a thing. I still don't. But in my mind, and I'm gonna pull up a photo so everybody can see it in the edit. In my mind, this guy looks like Napoleon Dynamite's brother.
Yeah.
Okay, that's how I picture him in my head.
Yep, and I think as age and years do all of us, he looks like Napoleon Dynamite's brother without any hair now.
Okay, so less hair.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's my memory, and then I think maybe like the very next year, those guys all dropped out. You took over the league. We had a guy that you were working with at one of the schools, Travis.
Travis. Yep.
The league for a little bit.
Yeah, he jumped right in and talked smack with the best of us.
Yeah, and then we added some more guys like Keith and Carl, and your now brother-in-law, like and your sister. Yep, your mom played. Like
mom, we even had a mom in the league a year.
We had Holtgate. We had the whole thing happen. We'll have to get Keith on sometime to tell that story.
Yeah, I think Keith needs to be a guest speaker for that.
Yeah, we'll get Keith on the podcast, and he can talk about Holtgate. We'll tell that story in a future episode. But so
were you around the first year? I don't know if you were there, but I remember. I think it was in that living room was the year that Barry Sanders retired. I don't know if you were in that draft. And this guy drafted Barry Sanders with his first pick, and we're all like, Bud, he's retired. He goes, no, I have inside information. Like, he's coming back. We're like,
never came back.
Okay, Bud. And so he kept it. I didn't know if that was in that year or not, but that was in the same house. So it was close to that era.
I can't remember. The only thing I remember about that year is that I drafted Brett Favre as my quarterback, and my team was horrible. So not much has changed.
Not much has changed in the 20-some years.
No. So, but at some point in time, Dave got involved.
Yeah.
I remember I met Dave at church, invited Dave to play fantasy football, and then like from the moment Dave got in, it hasn't been the same. Like two biggest moments, right? Like Dave coming in because Dave knew what he was doing, so that was scary. And then a few years later, when we invited Adam to come in, those guys are on a different level.
Those guys do fantasy a little bit different.
Yeah, they're not like we're scrubs. Those guys when they're very different, but they're yet very much the same in the fact that they're just on a different level. So Dave became our commissioner, and I think that like when we started getting the write-ups and getting like the like all that, like that just changed everything.
Yeah, and then we started getting spoiled by it. We expect it every week, and so it was nice to see them.
Yeah. So Dave's been a lot to this league, and we Junior's been. So when people wonder like why are we called the Hillbilly Harrison League, that name just carried through.
It
that
carried
was
through,
the name
yeah.
of the league when
Yep.
we inherited it. We
Yes.
basically
Yep.
we bought the franchise and kept the name.
We sure
And-
did. We
and
sure
so,
did. It was originally called the Hillbilly Harrison League, and we just continued it on. And I think
Yeah.
over the years somebody has tried to say we need to change it, and the consensus is nope, we need to keep it as is.
Yeah, we just like the flex spot.
The flex spot,
Yeah.
spot, we're keeping it as is.
Yeah,
Sorry,
keeping it-
Travis.
Yep. So now we got some good matchups that are coming up this week. We mentioned it. We've got Adam versus Rennie. Got any thoughts there? Like, who would you like to see? I mean, because both of those guys, I wish both of them could lose. Can I say that?
Yes,
Bob?
if it could be a lose-lose, that's what I would hope for both of them to lose that game, or maybe they end up in a tie. That would be even better.
Yeah. So, but do you have a thought? We got Matt Stafford versus Aaron Rodgers in that game.
I wondered if Rennie would pull the switch and go with Burrow.
Yeah.
Will he go with Burrow on a Thursday night? I mean,
Oh man,
he's thrown all those touchdowns to Chase, and that made him look like a genius. Hate to say that about Rennie.
He's definitely looking like a genius, and but it's going to be it is a close one. Like,
well, that's a tough one. I mean, right now Rennie's 52 to 48%.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like it'll come down to the wire, and we'll see who ends up on top of that.
I kept wondering if Adam was a little bitter because he only has one Kansas City Chief on his team this year.
Yeah, I think he is. But the Chiefs are also 1-3, so maybe Adam's a genius.
That might be true. I was sitting across from Lee at the draft that night, and Adam and Dave know these guys and pull them out of their hats and everything. And
yeah,
Lee's over there like, I don't know these names. I'm at home having sex with my wife instead. And then all of a sudden Lee pulls that one name out of his hat that Adam had written on his paper already. I'm like, oh, are you sure you're at home doing what you're telling me you're doing?
Yeah.
Maybe you are researching a little bit.
Well, Lee talked a little bit about it last week when we had him as a guest. So he definitely came in. He was sandbagging a little bit.
Yeah.
So
Lee had that's the most notes I've ever seen Lee have at the draft that night.
So we've got.
I think Rennie wins that one. I hate to say it, but I think Rennie wins that one.
All right, so Junior's pick is Rennie there. He's going to get on FanDuel or DraftKings and place a small wager on Rennie there. We've got two guys who probably are more likely to get the Hillbilly Award than they are to get a victory, but we've got Ed versus Danny. And I say that, and both of these guys are looking better. So Danny's at 2-1, and Ed's at 1-2. You got Tom Brady versus Patrick Mahomes. So, like, their two quarterbacks are going to score more than our entire teams, Junior.
Correct.
So that's
yes.
We don't really have any room to be throwing shade, but
no. Yeah, so, I mean, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, they could easily both put up 50, and my 9 guys, however many we start.
The line on this is dead even, and I wouldn't expect it to be any different, right? You just never know with Danny and Ed. Now, one of them could not fill a lineup spot in, so we've got that.
That could happen. But a 50-50 split, I mean, that's right down the middle right now. That's anybody.
Yeah. If I had to guess, I'm going to go with Danny because I think Mahomes is going to have a huge game, bounce back game, and we'll see. New England might come out to try to hurt Tom. So
I didn't even realize. I see that they're playing New England. Tom Brady could put up 65 in that game if he wanted to.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting to see what happens.
I think sneakerhead Mahomes, he's probably gonna win that one for Danny.
Yeah. So
maybe McPherson kicks a 66-yard field goal for the Bengals tomorrow night.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hey. Yeah.
How about that guy?
Yeah. All right. So now we got Lee versus Travis, the two guys that shut the tavern down. All right. These are
shut it down. Didn't pay their bills.
No, they paid their bill. They were the
last. They paid.
Yeah, last ones to leave. So you got Derek Carr rolling with Lee, and you got Russell Wilson, who's been playing pretty well for Travis. This one again, Travis got a slight advantage here, but all these we could see some more lineup changes before this whole thing goes. But
right now I show 58% to 42%. That's what I show.
Yep. So we'll see what ends up happening, but I think that for Travis, like Dave says all the time, when you put Dalvin Cook and Joe Mixon out in your lineup, it's tough.
It's hard to beat two guys like that.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah. I don't think Travis needs a flex spot this week. He wins pretty easily, I think.
No, and then you got Cooper Kupp on your team too. That's not even fair.
Yeah.
Who drafted Travis's team?
How did he get? I don't know. Did Travis draft his own team?
Yeah, Travis is sneaky good. Like he tries to pretend. He doesn't get in chat. He doesn't talk at all. So
he just comes in quiet and.
Yep. So all right. So you're gonna play against Brennan, Brennan scored like a 50 spot on Monday Night Football to take me down. Yeah. That was painful to watch.
Yeah, so Brennan scored almost as many points in one night that I did all weekend.
Yeah. So we got Dak Prescott versus your Lamar Jackson. How you feeling about this matchup? You're actually favored to win. So
yeah, I'm favored by a little bit. I feel like Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry has not played to the back of their football card yet. So hoping that those two can play well and get me a win. The ESPN experts thought I drafted well, so I'm hoping at some point that comes through.
Well, we'll see what happens, but yeah. So we got Lamar Jackson versus Dak Prescott. I think you're right. I think Brennan's going to come back down to earth. I mean, he should have lost last week, if I'm being honest. Like I outsmarted myself. I dropped too many players. I swapped out my quarterback. I dropped a quarterback that scored 30-something points. So that's not smart.
So maybe you should have had the Hillbilly War. I don't know.
That's what I said. I could have easily got it. I swapped out a defense for I dropped a defense that scored 22 points. It went to Travis's team. It didn't get him a win, but that's
that got me too, because I played Dave and he had Josh Allen, who I forget who he played, but that was my defense.
Oh yeah.
So my defense ended up -6, and Josh Allen had 47 points. So really he had about 65 because my defense was -6. So that wasn't the best move for me.
Yeah. So
I always think it's hard when you have your quarterback and your running back like on the same team.
Yeah. Well, I'm pulling for you because of what Brennan did to me last week. So I just want you to know that.
I appreciate it. Us guys at the bottom, we got to stick together.
Yeah. And then we've got Dave up against Brian. This is a dead even one, 50-50, right? Go either way. We got Kyler Murray, who's been red hot against Josh Allen, and you know what he can do.
Josh Allen, man, he's quietly was the best quarterback in the league last year.
Yeah. So here's the deal. Brian's got to get a win. I got to pull for Brian to get a win, even though the guys at the bottom, like that would help me if Brian keeps losing and if I can get a win. But I got to pull for Brian to get a win here, even though maybe Dave needs a little. He got high points and a win on Sunday. Like you can't. What else? Can't be greedy, Dave.
No, you can't be greedy. You can't get a big head. So maybe let's pull for Brian.
Yeah, and the odds are in Brian's favor. You can't go 0-4.
No, 0-4, season's over.
Yeah,
season's over at that point. You're 0-4.
Yeah. So here it is, me versus my buddy Josh. I invite all these people into the league, and what do?
They beat you.
Yeah. So 0-3 versus 2-1. Josh got the slight advantage. We'll see what happens. I'm about to drop 15 guys and pick up 15 new ones in the morning. So
there's nothing wrong with that. You know, you got to roll with it sometimes.
You just got to roll the dice. I mean, like, it didn't work last week, but we'll see if it works this week. Here's the thing. I'll put my 3 wide receivers up against anybody's wide receivers in the league. And normally, in a normal year, I feel like, man, if you had 3 great wide receivers, you'd be doing well. I just can't seem to, and then last, I scored 109 points. So I'm trending in the right direction, but it didn't get me a win. So I don't know what it matters. So
yeah, that's all right. 56 points didn't get me a win either.
No.
Fine.
But
yeah, I think you have a shot. I mean, Jameis Winston, if the good Jameis Winston comes out, I mean, you got a good shot there.
Yeah, he's playing the Giants, so he's got a chance to score a lot of points.
I agree.
So, we'll see what happens. Barkley and Hilaire played much better last week. Like I said, those 3 wide receivers, Jefferson, Godwin, and I've got Beckham Jr. in the lineup, but I've got 2. AJ Green's played well on my bench.
AJ Green's been good.
He got yards. He just didn't score a touchdown. He's kind of hit or miss. I got Schuster that I'll never play, but so we'll see. I got to still think about who's going to be that 3rd wide receiver, but we'll see.
Yeah, you got a good group of wide receivers.
We'll see what happens. I like my chances against Josh, but he's got Herbert, and Herbert just lit it up last week. But Las Vegas's defense is much better than the defense he played last week. So
yeah, that should be a good game. Is it in Vegas?
I don't know.
I don't know how you look. Nope, it must be at home.
Okay.
Yeah, it must be at home.
In LA. So I'll probably end up swapping that defense out because I do not want to have happen to me what happened to you, which is Herbert drop a 50 spot on me and then go negative in defense. So
yeah, you don't want to do that because then it ends up 20 more points for the quarterback.
Yeah, still some tinkering to do with that, but yeah, man. So that's the matchups for this week. We miss Dave. Wish he was here, but
absolutely miss him.
Yeah, I'm sure that again, like I say this all the time, like this is fun doing this. I love reading Dave's write-ups, though. So Dave, if you're listening, do not stop doing that. You keep writing those and
take a lunch break. Do what you got to do while you're working.
Yep.
You got to get those in. We always like to read them.
Get somebody else to drive home from Evansville so you can do some important fantasy football research.
Yep.
The funny thing is, like, I know a few people that are on people's teams. I'll say something to Dave, like we'll be talking, getting ready for this, or just talking in general, and he knows every player that's on every other person's team.
I 100% believe that.
I mean, he's got it memorized.
Yeah.
Like, he knows who people dropped. He knows who people picked up. Like, I don't know. I don't pay attention. Like,
sometimes I don't even know who's on my own team.
Exactly. I had to go back through, and I couldn't remember what defense I dropped, and I had to go back and look. I was like, oh, I dropped the Saints. Yeah, they scored. They did well. So
that's funny.
It's great.
Yeah, I had in another league I play in. I don't know, Dobbins got hurt, and it's with Kobe and his buddies, and they sent a text like, "Oh, Dobbins hurt," and I was like, "Oh man, that sucks for whoever has him." They're like, "You dummy, it's you." I'm like, oh. Crap.
See that's why.
And they had already picked up the backup.
That's why we ride and die with Hillbilly Harrison.
Yes. I play that one just because they wanted me to, but the Hillbilly Harrison League is my first and only love.
Okay. So did you get to hear on the podcast last week Lee's take that Kobe looks like Eli Manning's son?
Yes, I did. I mean,
is Kobe aware of this? Does he know he's been talked about?
No, but I might have to tell him because Lee comes over and shoots guns sometimes and stuff, and I might have to just tell Kobe, you need to take it up like a man. Go talk to Lee.
Yeah. So if we're playing down in Harrison on Saturday, some 6th grade football. Come on down and watch.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. What time?
Like 3:15. We're playing the Harrison White team. I think.
Harrison White team. So you guys are all out of quarantine, like you all.
Yeah. Kids went back to school on Thursday. I was
Okay.
able to go back to work on Tuesday, so everybody's healthy. We're all good. So
Good. You guys ever get sick?
now the kids were a little bit sick, but nothing
Okay.
major. And
Gotcha. Good.
Katie and I tested negative, so we've got super antibodies. So
Well, there you go.
yeah.
Yeah. Dana and I went through it. Dana's still she's still not completely back, but
Yeah.
I've
Well,
been back to work for about a week and a half, 2 weeks. So
okay. So you probably gave it to me at the Central game. That's probably what happened.
probably
I never
so.
had it though.
I probably
never-
did because it was Labor Day weekend.
Yeah. So
that Dana tested positive. So
yeah. Well, all right. Well, Junior, thanks so much for taking time to be on here tonight. I hope everybody has
fun.
a good weekend and Thursday night football. Go Bengals.
Thursday night football, wear your Bengals gear to work tomorrow. You know,
Yep.
like come home, take a nap so you can watch the game.
Yep.
You know, I did think that it worked at least for a little while, my reverse psychology with the Reds. I think I might try that with my own fantasy team. I may just start talking about how bad they suck. Maybe I'll pull out a win or two.
Yeah. I mean, everybody else has been doing it for your fantasy team, so you might as well jump on the
bandwagon. I might as well just join the train and just bash my own team too, because that's how it rolls.
Do you have one of these?
You know what? I do not have one of those yet, but I may need to get one of those.
Okay.
It's a good look on you though, Smitty.
Yeah. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you all next week. All right. Peace.
All right. See you guys. Peace out.